Oh! How could this happen?
Ah, good night, Irene. You cannot run from me, my gun is faster!
This is a real frickin' embarrassment. This did not just happen!
Doctor!
Man!
Hello everyone, this is Big Man Tyrone, President of Kyrgyzstan.
That's all you got? Only 4 of them? Bulldozer time!
Too many little men on this team! Sandwich! Sandwich! Me and my sandwich! What was that sandwich? Uh-oh! Oh, no! You I do not forget! Boo! Next time, pick on someone your own tiny baby size!
Let me read a letter I recently received.
Get back to work!
Very well!
On, Garrett!
Yo?
Keith and Garrett, they just got all quiet! None of you working as a team! Where's the lamb sauce?
Oh, that slaps me on the knee. It's good.
Hello internet people, it's Bath Doge. So for today I've decided to make another ARG coverage video. Due to the fact that I see my last video did pretty well. You guys seem to have enjoyed it judging by the likes. And I've gotten some comments in the video regarding criticism or what to improve on and whatnot. Which in this video I have acknowledged that, and hopefully you guys will like this. This one is a bit short due to the size of the ARG, but I don't want to leave you guys without any content, and generally I want to keep you guys entertained. So hopefully you guys don't mind it on me taking a bit of a smaller ARG. The reason I saw interest on this ARG is that I haven't seen anybody on YouTube cover it as of recording this, and it seems interesting because it's based around Team Fortress 2, which is a game that I really enjoy. Alright, the first video we will be looking into will be from the popular Team Fortress 2 SFM YouTuber. Now, sorry if I'm butchering this. Kigs Kills Reality. From what it seems, he hasn't gotten his channel into the ARG immersion, rather than just uploading these ARG videos alongside his regular SFMs, but I still think they're worth the shot, and generally he makes interesting SFMs. You guys should give him a watch. But the first video is called 2fort_anomaly.mp4, and let's get into it.
Feel the burn now. Y'all ain't ready for this.
Okay, that was a lot of things put into 1 minute, but if we dissect this, it seems like Kig connects to a server, and weirdly enough, unlike any other normal TF2 server to say, where it lets you pick on which team to play as soon as you connect, Kig instantly gets put in the red team, which is a bit weird. It's an interesting visual thing to point out. Another interesting thing is when Kig selects his class, it shows 3 players present on the red team, 1 scout, 1 heavy, and 1 sniper. But upon walking out of the spawn, there are more red players present in even different classes. After Kig encounters the 2-fort party, which is a very common thing to see conga parties, taunt parties to say, he walks to the right side to check something, but when he walks back to the spawn area, everyone is ominously missing. And the only thing left is a dead sniper at the left corridor of the spawn. Then as he proceeds to walk into the intelligence room, it appears that something is looking after him. And if we zoom into what's looking after him, as we can see, that may be a sniper, which is very interesting. Afterwards, Kig gets started a little bit by the entity peeking at him. He walks into the intelligence room to investigate said entity, since it could be a blue spy or something like that going for the intelligence. But to his surprise, he gets jump scared by the sniper and a chase sequence begins. Which I gotta say, the visuals are very nice and very well put together. Luckily, Kig being in the scout class, he manages to outrun the entity, and after exiting the intelligence room, everything seems to return to normal. But one odd thing is that the medic and sniper are acting a bit weird around the 2-fort party. Now, this could be a coincidence, but it's an interesting observation point. Kig mentions the anomaly in his description and states that if anybody has encountered anything familiar that has happened on this video. Well, from personal experience, I can say that I've encountered something similar with Einstein, but either way, that was an interesting video. I'll leave my theory at the end, and let's continue to the next one. Alright, this time Kig is playing Double Cross, and from what we can see is that the server he's playing on is a bit glitchy. We can notice that with how the spawn door is semi-transparent, but nonetheless he continues to play normally until he stumbles upon the red side tunnel and a figure appears inside of it. The engineer next to him glances towards it until Kig decides to enter the tunnel himself, and once he enters it we get a big jump scare from the sniper, and due to that Kig decides to run for it, taking a right turn, and then we see a super creepy heavy jump scare which starts to chase Kig, and that forces Kig to take the other side, which leads him to a white door frame that causes him to get teleported back to 2 Fort. And once he goes to the sniper location on 2 Fort, he sees a dead sniper on the ground, which weirdly enough, as we can see, the weapon of the dead sniper, the knife, it keeps like teleporting around him, or like the weapon keeps despawning and respawning, which is a weird thing around the dead ragdoll. Afterwards, Kig glances at the intelligence room, which while editing this, I think I can see a red character, but I can't determine which class it is since it's a very tight angle. Then Kig proceeds to walk to the other way towards the intelligence, and visually we can see that he has become very paranoid, which unfortunately after stumbling upon the intelligence room he gets jump scared by the red sniper. Additionally, in Kig's description on the double cross anomaly, he mentions that this happened again and that the engineer that he friended has noticed the entity and whatnot, which kind of explains that other players can see these anomalies. And he mentions that he's fortunate to realize that he's not the only one seeing it. It's really interesting that he mentions that the anomaly auto-loaded or made like a load trigger while he was in the game, and that the reason he skipped some parts is because his computer crashed, blue screened at the ending. Well, one thing I can mention is that Kig is fortunate enough to not encounter our friend Einstein, but this is equally creepy as that ARG. Let's continue to the next one.
Why is there a spy right outside of spawn?
Time has been added.
Get on point!
That was very interesting. This video honestly brings in a lot of clues that we could answer, but it also brings in a bit of a flavor into the ARG. So what happened basically was that Kig is having a normal game, And from what it appears that after advancing to Dustbowl, he performs a spy check in that wall. And then after zooming out of his scope, all the players just stop all of a sudden, which is very eerie to see all the players, you know, from a game that's so filled with personality, or a game that's filled with like action, you know, all of a sudden for it to pause for a second just like that. And then this entity figure appears, this engineer figure appears out of nowhere, and a white bright light appears. Afterwards, Kig gets teleported back to 2 Fort. Now, since Kig keeps constantly getting teleported to 2 Fort, I think 2 Fort has some type of symbolic nature here. It's really important, and it's like a pivotal point in the ARG that I have a theory about, and we'll get into it at the end of the video. Anyways, as Kig is back in 2 Fort, a lot of audio cues happen, and we can see that there's a bunch of classes running around at the edge of his screen, or like they appear and then disappear. And I think it's a very important thing. And then afterwards, Kig decides to go down 2 Fort, and as he goes down, he encounters the white door frame again, but unfortunately he gets grabbed by this very deformed looking heavy and gets pushed into the door frame. If we were to read the description of this video, Kig mentions how he found this video on Skype. So after all, it might not be him in this footage. It might be a completely different person playing the game. And he mentions that he got this from said individual, which if I were to assume which individual this may be that engineer we saw in the last video that also looked at the entity in the tunnel. But either way, let's move to the next ARG. This time, Kig writes a date that the video was recorded on, and from what we can see, it was recorded on the 30th of June 2011, which makes the timeline a bit weird on this ARG, since if we were to analyze it on the first video, the taunts that the players are doing when they're dancing and whatnot, they're using the taunt called Manarabics, which was released in 2015. So one thing I could say is that maybe the further we go down this ARG, the older the footage gets. But other than that, if we were to analyze the video, it starts off as a normal game where Kig teleports to his sentry location. But as soon as he teleports, we see the red heavy for a split second watching over him. Kig notices this and looks over the location, but then we see that the heavy is gone. Then afterwards he sees a pyro walking up the stairs, and the pyro gives him a sign or something, and then he follows him. And as we see him walking up the vent, all seems to be normal and whatnot. But as soon as he goes past the pyro and checks the vents and then goes back to check on the pyro, all of a sudden the pyro is missing. And then we get a big jump scare from the heavy. Kig being startled, he runs for it and goes to his teleporter, which one funny thing I can point out is that the sniper that's on the ledge over there is just still waiting there to headshot somebody. I think this is just a funny inside joke on how tunneled vision some 2-4 snipers can be. But anyways, as Kig runs towards the red spawn area, we can see that the area looks a bit glitchy with missing windows, and weirdly the spawn doors are open by themselves, or like some type of like, it looks like some type of invisible entity is walking around. And after Kig glances inside the red spawn, he gets jump scared by the heavy entity, which he frantically quits the game. There isn't too much to be said about this video now, but I think it has a few hints that I'll point out a bit later on in the theory section. So let's continue to the next video. Okay, since these two videos are relatively short, I've decided to put them together for simplicity's sake. So, there isn't anything I can say about the 8-second clip, other than it looks like we got motion control now, type of like VR visuals or something like that. And it kind of embodies that video game horror, where it reminds me how when I was younger and played these types of games like Team Fortress 2 and whatnot, I'd be a bit afraid of those like T-posing entities or something, just because of how ominous they looked. It just looks really like static and eerie, being chased by like a motionless entity, and then at the end to be jump scared by such thing. Now the 18-second video gives me some hints on what's going on. As we can see, we are in the POV of the engineer again, and I can assume that by how the hands look, kind of look like, you know, how the engineer looks like. Not too much can be said due to the shortness of this video, but it really embodies that type of childhood creepy glitch character to say, and the engineer is just being chased by such character. But anyways, let's move on to the next video. Right off the bat, we can see some type of static image at the start that looks like it was taken at some type of tunnel. But anyways, as we go back to the video, it looks like we are back at Double Cross, and we are at the POV of the soldier. Now at this point, I don't know if it's Kig himself or if it's a recording from a different person, but as we go into the gameplay, it looks normal at the start, other than us seeing some visual bugs here and there that indicates that the game is not stable. The soldier advances forward and attacks the red team, but as they notice him, he takes a left turn and realizes that the intelligence is guarded by a sentry. He attempts to turn back with rocket jumping, but unfortunately on his second rocket jump, he gets a random crit. This is a very funny irony to how random crits are in Team Fortress 2. Unfortunately, that random crit made the soldier respawn to a very creepy version of the blue spawn that looks even more glitchy and buggy. which for a split second we can see a limb at the spawn of the door. It kind of looks like a soldier leg, and it's right next to the rocket launcher that's left on the ground. After the soldier investigates, he gets put into some type of a weird camera pan, makes him walk the opposite direction, and as he goes down the stairs he hears some type of noise, some type of rattling. He goes in there to investigate, and then we see he gets yoinked at the back by the entity, which now we can see where that image at the start of the video came from. Afterwards, we see this very creepy image of the engineer. This is very interesting, and it kind of opens up some questions and maybe some assumptions on what happens to these characters after they get encountered by some entities. One weird thing also on the description of this video, it shows the date, but also the letters TRU, which are very mysterious.
Incoming! My fists, they are made of steel! Come on! That was delicious! Oh!
What's up, Doc? You are trying my patience!
I am very happy! This will work.
Hi, I'm Derek Barr. Say goodbye to dirty stains and dirty surfaces with new Kitchen Gun. This sink is filthy, but just 3 shots from Kitchen Gun. And it's...
What was that? Oh, it is sad day!
I love you, Kitchen...
Yes! Little man! I have squashed you like bug! Doctor!
I require assistance!
Incoming! Oh! Scout is dead! It's not possible! Soldier!
Welcome back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that little intermission. This ARG, due to the size of it and having a bit of limited resources, it really jumbled up my theory making. I tried my best in making a logical conclusion of this, but the following theories may sound a bit weird or convoluted. But in all of the videos that are combined under the span of 10 minutes, it really doesn't give me that much opportunity, but I still try to make sense out of it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Okay guys, so basically I had to throw the previous script in the trash. That's because after editing this video I realized that some of the points in it are invalid, and if we were to basically put these videos together side by side, we can see that they have some type of connection, and I'll present that to you guys in the following. Alright guys, hopefully that patched up timeline video kind of explained it for you. I'm going off script again, so this is purely in one take. There is a few confusing things, like for example the engineer videos and the double cross scout. Now if we were to address the scout POVs, one thing I can 90% determine is that both of them are from the same player. That's due to the fact when we read the double cross anomaly description, Kig mentions that it happened again. So this really makes me assume that Two Fort and double cross are 90% to 95% connected to each other. Now the engineer is a very interesting character in this ARG, because if we were to read the description from the double cross anomaly, Kig mentions that he befriended the engineer and that he also noticed it. So the footage that's mainly the engineer POV, I think, is a completely separate thing that happened in his own experience and isn't that much connected as the double cross, Two Fort and Dustbowl video. The only connection I could make with the engineer is that possibly the soldier POV video is the aftermath of what could have happened. Since if we were to determine on how the turbine video ended, and then we see those two motion capture videos, the one where the engineer is running away and then gets jump scared by the spy, we can determine that that was the cause of him becoming this type of really long fingered monster, to say, that's in a dingy tunnel. So for the engineer, I'll say that he has some heavy lore implications, but then again, we, in all of the videos, we barely encounter anything with the soldier. So the soldier is also an interesting anomaly that we simply don't have anything to look into. Now that's a bit also confusing, because I can't 100% pinpoint between Two Fort and the soldier POV, because Two Fort shows that part where the scout is jumping over and going to the intelligence room and encounters the sniper, and same we see that from the sniper POV. But then again, the soldier POV kind of shows the aftermath of the engineer. So I'm kind of in between both of those videos, that they are the more latest depictions of the anomaly and that all of these other ones are some type of older footages. The Dustbowl anomaly could be ground zero, where all of this started happening, and I'll explain that more on the next part. Now the reason I say the Dustbowl video is interesting, because it kind of gives us some type of backstory on what might be happening. So one thing we can say is that the heavy, the spy, and the soldier are characters that don't have enough coverage behind them, right? The reason why I don't put the sniper in that category is because we kind of see the sniper all around most of the videos. We see him in two scout POV videos, aka Two Fort anomaly and double cross anomaly. We even see him in turbine. So something's around him. Even the scout gets jump scared by the sniper. I think the pivotal characters in this ARG are the engineer and the sniper, but however, this is a big but, maybe the soldier will be a very important character as well. I know I keep repeating this, but that's how I'm looking at the perspective of what this ARG is trying to tell. The Heavy is definitely also an interesting character, just purely because he is the one that shoved the sniper into that white door, and is the one where, if we were to look at the sniper POV video, we see him stalking the scout at that door frame. So definitely it could be the case where the heavy, the spy are some type of subject zero entities or something like that. We don't get any lore coverage behind them, any story coverage, but they definitely give me the hints that they may have started all of this, and the sniper has become some type of entity that's assisting them. Also, one super weird thing that I notice is that when there's a anomaly going on, like, you know how on Team Fortress 2 there's an interface showing your health bar, ammunition, GUI basically. For some reason, every time they're in 2 Fort or like most of the videos, they don't have that type of interface, and the only video where there is that type of interface is the Dustbowl video, which is very, very interesting. I think that also plays some type of part, but I can't get my finger on what it could play. This is another clue that the ARG might be giving. It appears that most of the videos, the team that keeps getting affected by these entities is the blue team. The only instance where it happens on the red team is the 2 Fort anomaly, where the scout, when he joins the game, he's auto-assigned to the red team. Which is another weird thing, is when you join a Team Fortress server, from what I know, you get like the little window pop-up between red and blue to choose whichever team you want. On these videos, from what I see, the player gets auto-assigned to those teams. So it is definitely a weird thing. I think the blue team is some type of motif that this ARG is trying to go at. My theory for that, I'll just say that the red team maybe has gotten infected by this type of anomaly, and that the blue team, we're witnessing the perspective of blue team players getting assimilated, to say, but I'm not 100% sure. So for the conclusion, one theory that's definitely floating around is that possibly some type of character assimilation or player assimilation may be going on. And the reason I think of this is because in the Dustbowl video, right when the sniper pans towards the heavy, for a split second we can see a dark figure that kind of looks like a T-posing sniper. Now that leads me to believe that maybe that white door could be the area where they're filling these vessels with something, and then they turn into those types of deformed looking Team Fortress 2 characters like the engineer or the heavy. We kind of need more content to figure that one out. But anyways, this was a really fun video to make. It probably got a little bit messy just because of how the ARG is. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon. And if you guys want to contact me, I'll be opening up a Discord soon, and I have a Twitter, so be sure to check those links in the description.